Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Flow of Ink podcast. I am here with Amber, and as you guys notice, I am missing my other half. Jenna is not here. Unfortunately, her grandma fell this Friday, and she is really hurt, so Jenna's taking care of her. But we are all sending her good wishes and hopes that she gets well very soon. And I'm here with this amazing author, Amber, and we are going to discuss her book, The Adventures of Mishka, in Central Park. And I have the book here. So I'm super blessed to have an autographed copy. So, hi, Amber. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. It is Easter, so thank you for making the time to, record on this holiday.
Oh, of course. Yeah, happy Easter.
Yes. So, in order to get to know, because I'm sure everyone will be wondering as much as I am, we want to know a little bit about Mishka, the inspiration of this whole book. Can you give us any details of like how long you've had her, what breed of dog she is?
She just turned 5 in January. She is a Samoyed. I got the inspiration honestly because she's very mischievous,
Mm-hmm.
and we lived in Central Park. Well, we are back now, but we lived in Central Park for 3 years. Or in New York, and we would go to Central Park every morning, and she would always get into these crazy doggy adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it would just be so cute to write a little book about kind of sharing her adventures and then also sharing, parts of the world and parts of, for this book, parts of Central Park,
Mm-hmm.
to people who either live here, people who have never been here, just kind of, give a worldly view to the kids as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a great book. I actually read it with my fiance, and he was just like, "It's so like it's cool because we had always wanted to go and see Central Park, and so to be able to see a book that really gives you kind of a hint to what it's like, it was like super cool."
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. Do you have any plans to make a sequel to this wonderful book?
Yes. When I first started writing this one, I actually intended for it to be, excuse me, for it to be longer. It was going to be all about just New York in general.
Mm-hmm.
And due to just printing costs, I don't know if you've ever, gotten into the printing costs of children's books,
Yeah.
and, the way that I wanted to lay it out. The first book now is going to be in two.
Oh,
So the first one is in Central Park. The second one's going to be in the Big Apple.
oh,
And that one will release hopefully next month in May. And then I've got a series of 6 planned so
oh,
far. So
wow.
it's kind of her. I wanted to kind of take her just kind of all around the world and the
Mhm.
country and with my family and then traveling the world later, going to like iconic places like the Eiffel Tower and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So kids can kind of have that cultural experience with Mishka.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. There's not a lot of books out there like that. And so
Mhm.
I think that you found like a really good like niche right there. But
Yeah.
so kudos to you for that.
Oh, thank you.
What was your writing process like during the creation of this book?
It originally came from. So I've got 4 nieces,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have kids myself. So I've got 4 nieces, and they haven't really traveled much. I mean, and so the whole writing of it was just kind of really writing for them, and that's kind of how it started. Was I didn't even intend on publishing it, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
And then in 2020, it was, I think, 2020 for a lot of people, and I found myself with some more free time than normal,
Yeah.
and and so I started embracing my creative side a little more, and really wanted to get, I found an illustrator. They just kind of landed in my lap. They didn't really do books before, and so
Oh,
they they agreed to do my books, and the inspiration just kind of went from there. And so yeah, the writing of it was super fun. I got to, embrace my inner child and be a little kid, and imagine what a kid would want to read. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it was so much fun. And then it's just kind of taken off from there. And I decided to publish it, and yeah, so that's
Awesome.
where, yeah.
Well, talking about creativity, what do you think was the most fun part of your book to create?
Um, so I'm a big idea person. I'm not an artist. I actually, funny enough, I tried to do the illustrations myself in the very beginning, like when it was just for the nieces.
Right.
I actually had real photographs of Mishka that I had taken, and I would I downloaded like all these apps to try to like cartoonize or
Yep.
cartoon them, and they looked awful. And I was just
Oh no.
like, I'm just going to shelf the book. I was like, I don't want to do this. And then when the illustrator came out, honestly, that's been my favorite part, is just kind of collaborating
Yeah.
and work. I mean, they're doing the illustrations for books 3 and 4 right now. And it's just so fun to see my ideas like come to life and
Yeah.
in cartoon. So yeah, that's been the best part. And then seeing, like I've had a few book signings with it now too, and hearing all the kiddos that come and meet Mishka and, talk about the book. It's just, it's so, heartwarming. So that's been amazing.
Yeah. So on the good side, you have that. What would you say was the most challenging part of actually writing this book?
Mm. The most challenging part would be, I guess, marketing.
Yeah.
I did not grow up with a marketing background. I did a course on basically how to, write a book all the way through publishing. And I decided very early on that I was going to self-publish. But, because even if you go through a publisher, they don't market for you.
Yep. Yep.
So I knew that marketing would be my Achilles heel. And so, and I did have some hiccups with Amazon in the very beginning.
Yes.
I don't want to bash them or anything.
No.
But yeah, Amazon gave me quite a bit of trouble in the very beginning. So I hope that after I get a couple of the books out, those problems go away. But
Yeah.
but so for now, I mean, it's just definitely the marketing and getting it out there and getting people to see it. That's been, I say, a trial by fire.
Yes. Well, hopefully this will help and get word out there,
Yeah.
so more people can learn about it. And are there any, like, personally authors or books that inspired you to become a writer?
I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always had this dream that one day I would have a book in Barnes and Noble. I don't know why,
Yes. Yep.
I don't know why that ever came about, but so the children's book came first. I'm actually writing books about, that pertain more to my business now, that are just a totally different thing. But yeah, I've always I've always loved reading, and I'm a huge book person. It's kind of like that Beauty and the Beast, right? Like I want to be Belle with the big
Yep.
library,
Same. That is my dream. Yep.
it's totally my dream too. And so to have a book, by myself, I never thought that, that I could do it, that I would ever do it. And so, 2020 was a blessing, in disguise, that it gave me the time to do it. So yeah, and I think too, just kind of sharing this story and sharing, just kind of, how do I word it? Giving kids, entertainment for, kind of pulling themselves, into a story. It's fun. It's fun to know that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to know that you're a part of that, and being able to see them, like, especially like you said, the book signings. That's got to be really cool to see you actually touching kids' lives.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So you said you're like a book nerd like me, which I love. What books are you currently reading?
So, so they're not children's books.
No. Yes.
I mean, I mean, I will say, so to this question and the one before, growing up, I was always a Bernstein Bear fan. And
Yes.
so
Yep.
part of me has had the inspiration that, I want Mishka to kind of be like the Bernstein Bears for
Yeah.
this generation, because I'm in my 30s. So,
Yep.
I know they're still out, but like I would like Mishka to be the new Bernstein Bear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, the books that I'm reading now, a lot of them are kind of more towards my business. So I'm a health coach, and I do coaching for people with chronic illnesses and autoimmune and gut health issues. And so those are kind of the books that I read now, is just educational type of stuff. So that's and then I am a big Harry Potter fan. I'm not gonna lie.
After my own heart. Okay.
I went to I live in New York City, and I just went to the Harry Potter store on Monday, and I just totally nerded out. So I'm a big Potter fan.
I am the biggest Potterhead in my family. I have a whole corner, like even right here. This is Malfoy's dad's wand. I have the cane replica.
I love
And
it.
it even comes out like the traditional one.
Oh my gosh, look at you. I love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I love it.
So I understand completely. I love it.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to that store, and I really hope that I can.
It was amazing. I highly recommend it. And if we had more time, I could totally geek out on my wand that I got at Universal and
Yep.
all the books so
Yeah, we understand. Yes. So what plans do you have? Because you mentioned your business. Do you plan on writing something for like not children's literature then?
Yes. So I've been thinking about this a lot over the last 2 years. I mean, I definitely want to work on the series, but the Mishka series, it's not it's more time consuming just waiting for the illustrations, honestly. And so,
Right.
it's kind of a time game for that one. So I am writing right now. I'm in the middle of writing a memoir kind of about, I used to have, I was diagnosed with multiple autoimmune diseases and
Okay.
cancer, and
Oh wow.
I was able to kind of find healing in my body naturally. And so I'm writing a memoir kind of how I did it, so maybe it can help other people. And then I have kind of a fun little fiction book. Okay, this is like totally a pipe dream, but I'll tell you. So the movie 27 Dresses.
Yes, I love that movie.
Okay. So I've had this like pipe dream that there's a book that I'm writing called The Ninth Proposal. And it's about this woman, who's been proposed to 9 different times, and she keeps trying to, find herself through men,
Right.
which I think is the commonality for women these days, honestly. And so I wanted to make it into like a comedy, like 27 Dresses, and have Reese Witherspoon make it into a movie,
Yes.
So I'm putting that out there in the universe now.
Yes.
So that one's underway as well. But I'm not sure when that one will be published. Maybe the end of next year, the year after, probably for that one. So,
Well, when it becomes a thing, let me know, and I will gladly bring you on here again to talk about it.
nice. Yeah, I would love that.
What advice would you give to aspiring writers working on their first book?
Oh my God, just get out there. Just get out there. And ask questions, I mean, so for me, I mean, like I said, I did take a course that kind of, said kind of exactly what to do, like step by step of, outlining the book, writing the book, finding an illustrator, doing the layout, a lot of the design for this book I did myself. I mean, the illustrator did the pictures, but then they supplied me with some of the art to where I could do the marketing and, lay out the book entirely. And so that was all me. If you don't want to do that, you can find resources to do that. But honestly, I mean, just get out there and do it. I mean, even if you do, an hour or two a week, that's better than nothing. And I think that a lot of people, they get so scared or maybe overwhelmed, or, they think, oh my God, I have to write this 200-page book or whatever.
Right.
And then, they think they have to do it all in once. But, I mean, you don't, just start somewhere. That's my advice.
Yeah. What about the publishing side of things? Would you recommend to self-publish or go with a publisher?
It's hard to say because I haven't worked with a publisher.
Right.
So, I will say that self-publishing, you have to have the time and you have to be dedicated and you have to be committed and do your research, because there's lots of places out there where you can do self-publishing, like Amazon with KDP.
Right.
So with KDP, you have to make sure that your book is within certain parameters.
Yes, yes.
This Mishka book is not within their parameters as far as size. So I had to go through Ingram Spark, which they're basically a printer. I mean, they're not really a publisher. They're just a printer. And then they send out the metadata to all the bookstores and stuff. So so I would just get out there, do research. There's tons of Facebook groups too that you can go in and just ask loads of questions, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I self-published. I will say that, for this book, but I know that there's some publishers out there who have a good following.
Yeah.
And so, and they market, they will market, books that they're selling, for that, in that kind of respect. So, it's totally up to you. And if a publisher came to me around book 3 and said they wanted to publish this book, I'd probably give it a try and see the benefit of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So one fun thing that I like to ask all the authors that come on here is, do you think that you're more of a plotter, a pantser, or a plantser?
I have no idea what you just asked.
Okay. So plotter means that you have everything, like a timeline plotted out completely, and you fill out the timeline before you even start writing, and you write from there. A pantser is where you just sit down with your journal or your laptop, and you just by the seat of your pants just write it out. No plan, no nothing. And then plantser is both, is a cohesive thing together where you may plan certain aspects, but you just write from the heart.
I would definitely say I'm a plancer. Because before all of this, I was an engineer. And so I was super logistical and super, rigid. And there wasn't much creativity other than, scientifical, problem solving type of stuff.
Right.
And so with this, I'm kind of letting my artist side really, really come out. And it's allowed me kind of, I guess, giving myself permission to not be on a plan.
Right.
However, I am still a planner. And so, I do have deadlines and I've been able to meet the deadline so far, fingers crossed, but, but I'm not going to beat myself up about it if I don't. I like to write when I'm inspired. And if I'm not inspired, I don't sit down and write,
Yeah. It can be hard to force yourself to, because I'm working on multiple different things. One is more of the fantasy genre, young adult, and one is about the disease that I was diagnosed with when I was young. And so for me, the one about my diagnosis, I can sit and write inspiration or not, because it's a lot of facts. It's just a lot of what I've went through. It can be emotionally trying because of going through everything. I mean, I was diagnosed at 6, so it's been a lifelong journey for me. But for the fantasy one, if I don't have the inspiration, I can't do it. Because it feels forced, and then anything I try and write, when I go back to read it, I don't like it. Because I'm just I feel like my heart just wasn't there at the time.
I agree. And it's kind of the same with, I mean, I think we're both going through the same thing. I've got the Mishka book, but then I have my memoir. And sometimes with my memoir, like with you, my diagnosis, there's parts of it that were very emotional. And it's and I want to be raw and I want to be honest and I want to be true to my audience who are going to read it, because I want them to know that I relate. And sometimes it's so hard to get into that space, and write it, because it can feel really heavy. And then where Mishka's the like,
Yes.
it's like I have to like get into this little kid mode
Yep.
where, so yeah, I totally get it. And I think that that's why, the second Mishka book, I haven't, so all the illustrations are done. It's laid out. It's literally, I mean, everything's done, but the writing. And
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay.
and
Yeah.
so I'm sitting here going, I need to find the right time where just that hit of inspiration
Yep.
where I'm a little kid comes out and I can get it done, in a couple days, but it's just,
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Yeah. What do you like? What helps you get into that mode? Like, because this is about, your dog. What helps you get into the headspace of, your dog when you're writing?
I think honestly, like it's more about getting out of my head, it's
Okay.
more about embracing, just kind of the fun. Like, I mean, so I have another dog as well, Tchaikovsky, which you'll meet in book 4.
Okay.
So he's Mishka's half brother, and, and they inspire me every single day. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're so fun and so childlike, and they don't stress about stuff. They're
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring. And so, even this morning, going to the park and just watching them just have just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I go, gosh, like being human, we're so grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're so serious all the time. And so I mean, they really are my inspiration for these books,
Oh,
honestly.
that's awesome. I love that.
Mhm.
What would you say is your like kryptonite as a writer?
Mm, kryptonite. Um, Sometimes I guess it'd be the focus and procrastination. Because I do have a business, that's I guess I'm finding more as a priority. So, it's yeah, so sometimes the writing can take a little backseat,
Mm-hmm.
to the business, but
Yeah,
you know.
that's definitely understandable. Um, would you like to take the time now to say the links that you would like to have for people to go to see your book or to see even your personal business?
Sure. So yeah, so the book, I know I'm not on camera for them,
Yeah, I
yeah,
could I could show it here.
so the name of the book is The Adventures of Mischief Mishka. And so the website is literally www.theadventuresofmischiefmishka.com.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the website, I have a link where you can sign up for a newsletter. Like I send out updates on, when the next books and how the books are coming. So you can sign up for that. And then also I have links to a bunch of different places all over the world that sell it. So it
Okay.
is, yeah. So it sells worldwide. So, whether it's Australia, England, Europe, Canada. Here, I had someone in Italy. I know I sold some in Brazil.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it definitely sells worldwide. So yeah, that one. And then, so as the publisher, my company is actually, so my business is the publisher too, which is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it's a Feel Good Nourishment. So it's feelgoodnourishment.com,
Okay.
is my business. And so, yeah, so that's how you can kind of find me and, get up to date or email me and ask me any questions. So yeah, that's how to reach me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming on here and, opening up about your process and everything. And I'm super excited to see the further installments from, your books. And thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Alrighty. Well, I hope that you have a great day, and thank you for joining us on our podcast. And Jenna and I will be back very shortly with something new, and have a great day.